Hey everybody out there in YouTube, you know what time it is. It's time for part 2 of the Tournament of Cereal. Right here on Double AD. Stick around. Hello, and welcome back to our humble little podcast. You know me, I'm the AB, and I am joined once again by the one and only Miss Junk. Miss Junk, how the hell are you today?
I'm still reeling from some of those upsets last week.
I know.
Yeah, it was a rough week for me. I don't know, like you know, how do you get so much energy involved in what's going to happen? You know, I mean, look, there's so many. Like, you know, we had 8 matchups and 3 pretty big upsets. Some of the teams are packing up and heading back to Battle Creek, Michigan. Lost. Right. I don't know where GW Post is, but I assume it's the Midwest. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
They're all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Cinnamon Life with the 8 team went down. Cheerios, the number 9 team went down, which I mean, it was huge. And the 13 team Corn Pops went down too. Yeah. The rest pretty much as expected, though.
Pretty much as expected, and I gotta say that, you know, this last video was actually approved by Mrs. AB, who enjoyed guessing all of the cereals that yours truly would pick, and
really?
she only got one wrong. She got one wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did she fill out a bracket?
No, but she got one wrong. To her credit, it was Life versus Raisin Bran, and that's only because I think I have a box of Life on top of the fridge, so she just assumed that, oh, he likes Life over Raisin Bran, because I don't eat a lot of Raisin Bran. I mean, I do, but it's not.
No, but it's a classic. It's a classic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, today we're going to go through the other side, the West and the Southwest divisions, we'll call them.
All right, I like that, the West and the Southwest divisions.
Right. The other day was the Northeast and the Midwest. Now we're the South and the Southwest.
So one point of contention that I want to bring up too is the devastating loss of Boo Berry last week. I can't believe how many people had reached out to me, not over YouTube. I know people don't YouTube comments. They get onto my Discord, which is always linked in the comments below.
Which doesn't help the algorithm at all.
No. So there was much gnashing and weeping of teeth, both in private messages to me and in public on my Discord server, about how the hell is Boo Berry not your #1 seed? Well, it's just not, folks. I'm sorry.
I hope I got a little bit of cred for the pushback. I hope they're like, thank God we have an announcer willing to push back on that.
Yeah, she's willing to tell it like it is, folks.
Yes.
So
yeah, Boo Berry, like your respect, like I don't want to say you were at a 9 respect wise. Let's just say in the middle.
Right. In the middle. Yeah.
You dropped a little
right.
respect wise, but you picked it back up. No time, you know, Cow Chalk with the big upset that helped.
Right.
That helped ease my monster cereal pain. But
speaking of which, I want to become a count. I really want to become a count. I can become a count for $299.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. As I wipe my nose, sorry about that. Those not very Countess like. Yeah, Contessa. Yeah, you should be a count. You should be a count.
Yeah. There
should be. You know, I was thinking. I immediately thought of the Count from Sesame Street. There should be an AB Muppet. I think that would be
an AB Muppet.
You have a face that was just made to have a Muppet version of. Which I think would be the more flattering than being a count would be somewhere like someone's like, hey, we made a Muppet of you. I think that would be even more flattering to me personally, but
wow.
I have standards, so I don't know.
I'll take that compliment. I think.
Wouldn't that be awesome if like
you either just called me really cute or really ugly? I don't know which one it is.
It's kind of like when people like that old. You have a face for radio. You have a face for puppetry.
I do. I have a face for puppetry. There you go, folks.
I think it would be awesome to have a puppet, or like those Funkos. Those are little,
right.
You know, that would be cool to have a Funko made after you, but I think a Muppet.
You know what?
A regular on Sesame Street, even better. Not make your own. Not make your own.
No, you don't like to make your own Funko? No?
It's fine, but it's...
Oh, okay.
Look, if anyone can do it, it's not special. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry about my reach, folks, but what about this one?
Which one's that? Let me bring it up. Let me full screen that. It's pretty cool. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good one.
This is not a purchased item, folks. This is something that a friend of mine made for me.
All right, that's
So
pretty cool. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I do have a Funko Pop that was
Right.
not purchased as a Funko, but was rather given to me, and I treasure that thing. So
That's pretty
um,
cool. That's pretty cool. When someone makes one for you and gives it to
yeah,
you, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
it is pretty cool. I have the world's greatest fans. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um, so should we dive right into round two
I'm
of
good with
the
that. If you are,
tournament
are you
of
ready?
cereal? I am so ready for this, Miss Junk.
I mean, a lot of contenders in this. We have the number 2 seed. We have
All
the
right,
number 3 seed. We have, yeah, and then you never know who's going to come through the pack.
right.
Maybe like a 12, 13 seed will make it through the to the final four. Who knows? Who
We
knows? Every
don't
year, so
know. We don't know.
I expect there will be a couple upsets. Probably nothing too shocking, but I suspect there will be a couple upsets for sure. Sure. One in particular is really just that I've been
Oh,
thinking about. So yeah, so we'll start
I
off.
I am
Let's
I
do,
am ready. I am ready to receive the brackets.
yes, bring the bracketry. All right, now the bracketry. Let's start off. This is the hottest battle of the number 2 seed coming
Okay.
in is Lucky Charms. Everyone
Oh,
wants to see Lucky Charms. Big fans. They are facing the 31 seed Honey Smacks.
oh, that's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it very absolutely. They were giving
Oh,
Lucky Charms, which normally a number 2 seed you think would be 95% win rate. They were in Vegas, they were saying it's only 65. So I don't know what the betting action was like, but it's only, so we'll see. The number 2 seed Lucky Charms versus number 31 Honey Smacks. What do you think?
gosh, I'll start with uh Lucky Charms. I love some Lucky Charms. In fact, if you saw me at the end of last video where I was dutifully eating a bowl of cereal, which you might get to see at the end of this next video, for those of you who stick around for that sort of thing, it was indeed Lucky Charms in my bowl last week. So that should tell you how much that I really enjoy a good bowl of Lucky Charms. Honey Smacks is an interesting choice up here, and I put it up here because it is somewhat of a healthier-ish cereal. It's a puffed rice, and typically I love rice-based cereals, right? Rice-based cereals, you might see a pattern develop here, but rice-based cereals and corn-based cereals are my favorite.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
not I'm not really sure why that is. Like Rice Chex, obviously, from last week beating Blueberry. How could you do that? Easy because I prefer Rice Chex. Rice cereals are good to me. So, notwithstanding, um, I
Now,
appreciate
Is Lucky Charms oat based?
it is. It
Okay.
is. It is. It's frosted Lucky Charms. So it's
Okay.
not just the marshmallows that you're getting in Lucky
Correct.
Charms. It's the
Right. Everyone
frosted
knows the marshmallow.
oats.
Everyone knows the marshmallow. Right.
Right, right. And it's not just Cheerios. You can't just buy those little chalky marshmallows and dip them into Cheerios and think it's going to be the same because it's not. I've tried that. It doesn't work, kids.
It's not even close.
No, you have to do the actual Lucky Charms with the frosted oat. The frosted oat cereal varnish on that is just spectacular. Um, yeah, I gotta go. I like Honey Smacks, but it doesn't really do me on an everyday basis. So I'm gonna have to pick the number 2 seed here. Lucky Charms takes this one, folks.
No surprise. No
No
surprise to me.
surprise.
But are you one of the, now? Do you leave all your marshmallows to the end, or do you prefer the cereal and the marshmallow together in one
You know,
balanced, more sense? To enliven all of the senses at once. Where do you
that
stand now?
that is a very good question,
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
this goes back to the
And
point
not
that I
just Lucky
made.
Charms, by the way. This can go with the monster cereals as well. And if
Right.
you have a different answer, maybe.
Oh no, it's going to be a very similar answer, right?
Sure.
The varnish on the oat makes it top quality, in my opinion. The marshmallows are marshmallows, and I love those crunchy little chalky little things. This is another one of those cereals that, look, I don't let it sit on the counter for too long, but I do like to let it soak so that some of the marshmallows get a little soggy and
Right,
some of the
right, right,
marshmallows stay crunchy so that I get that depth of texture.
right,
That's
right.
what I
You need a little of
like.
that osmosis
Right,
action,
right, right.
osmotic
But as
action.
far as saving marshmallows to the end, I try to save it about half and half.
Okay.
I like that little mixture, but I do have to admit that I always save the oats for last.
Yes, this tells you how terrible my palate is. I just plow through the oats with my nose plugged till I get to the marshmallows with all the cereals. Like again, we go back to that. I was talking about Kaboom last week. It's just
Right.
basically Lucky Charms without the marshmallows,
Yeah.
which well, actually it's a worse Lucky Charms. It's
Yeah.
generic Lucky Charms without it. But anyway, all right, I digress. I
No,
digress.
no. Anytime we can talk about Kaboom, that's a happy day for me.
For sure. And Baron von Redberry, we need to.
That's
I
right.
need to find. I need to find that and get recommission the Baron. All right, number 15.
Okay.
This will determine who goes against Lucky Charms. Number 15, Apple Jacks versus the number 18, Fruity Pebbles.
Oh boy.
Apple Jacks and Fruity Pebbles, two hard hitters.
Two definitely hard hitters. You were bringing up last week about the torus shape of the Fruit
Yes.
Loops being able
Yes.
to soak that milk in, and Apple Jacks does the exact same thing.
For sure.
Some people even go as far, some people like me, when I have Apple Jacks in the house, I don't even need milk. I just eat that stuff straight out of the box.
Right. Right.
And I don't do that with a lot of other cereals. Apple Jacks being one of them, because I like the flavor. I mean, it's a great cereal flavor. But how does it compare to Fruity Pebbles?
Fruity Pebbles, another one that changes as it gets a different texture, but it's not necessarily a bad change.
No, it is not. And the longer it sits in milk, it's a rice-based cereal. So you got to think about it like Rice Krispies. And I love Rice Krispies.
Rice-based cereals.
Yes,
Everybody
it is.
knows that.
Yeah. And I love me some Rice Krispies, as we stated before. That makes this one really tough because this is sort of like a step away from Fruit Loops versus Cocoa Pebbles. And how do you choose between those two? I mean, they're two very similar-ish.
Right. Well, last week you had Cheerios versus Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah. And Cocoa Pebbles took it.
And we all know how that ended. But Apple Jacks and Fruity Pebbles, that's a different animal altogether.
Yeah. I like the crunch factor that I get with Apple Jacks, even towards, the close of the bowl, in comparison to Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, I almost said Fruit Loops. Fruity Pebbles. But I like... I got to go with Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles in overtime.
Fruity Pebbles in overtime, folks. I had to stop and think about that one, but I had to go with Fruity Pebbles. I love me some Apple Jacks. I hate that they have
Pebbles.
Yeah.
Both the Pebbles made it to the Sweet 16.
I love Pebbles. I love rice-based cereals. What can I say?
Yeah. Wow. That's a minor upset, but still an upset.
A minor upset. Yeah.
That was on my bracket. I called that one. Yeah. So all right. So Fruity Pebbles, the first upset of the game. They will face Lucky Charms next week. That's gonna be
that's gonna be a tough one, kids.
So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Next up, we have the number 7 seed, Corn Flakes. The veteran, the workhorse, against the number 26 seed, Kix.
Oh, two extremely different corn-based cereals, folks.
Yes.
Kix is a delightful, slightly sweet, varnished ball of corn. Imagine Cocoa Puffs without the cocoa.
Yes.
That's exactly what you're
getting. Word. What a horrible world that would be.
I had a soft spot for
me,
it.
Not you.
Not me. Right.
Clearly, you have different, more discriminating palate than I have. So, I mean,
Kix is one of those things that carried over from childhood.
Right.
And I don't eat a lot of it these days. Every once in a while, I get a hankering for it, and I'll go out and I'll get a box of it, and I'll eat it, and I'll be like, yeah, it was pretty good. And then I won't want to eat it for another couple of years. Whereas, help.
Are you talking cornflakes?
Cornflakes, thank you. Why couldn't I think of cornflakes?
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, brain fart city. But cornflakes, I've been known to buy those, the two for $6 special when it comes out. And that happens quite a bit. And I've been known to eat all of those cornflakes. nonstop. So I got to give the nod to the cornflakes on the Kellogg's cornflakes, the
Old
original
school.
and best.
Old school.
Yeah,
Just like you. It's old school.
it is old school
Right.
AB.
Yeah, so 7 moves on. The next one, now this one of the more this is one of the cereals that very, very different. You'll get very different answers. You ask 10 people how they feel about this, and this cereal, I can guarantee it'll be very divided opinions.
Okay.
We have the number 10 seed Frosted Mini Wheats
Oh.
versus the number 23 seed Cocoa Puffs.
Oh.
Clash of styles here.
Oh my God. I was just talking about Kix and how they were Cocoa Puffs without the cocoa, and I
Yes.
love me some Cocoa Puffs. Frosted Mini Wheats. I love that in joke he put in there. Half of the people are gonna say one thing about this, right?
Right, for sure, for sure.
Oh, what do I
Before we get
like
into this, did you
better?
ever have the big frosted wheats?
Oh yeah,
They were like giant pillows.
yes. You get
You'd
to
get
crush
two in a
them.
bowl, and then
Yeah.
you cut it in half. Do you have a preference between that and the mini? I assume you like the mini wheats more.
Mini wheats more so than the giant
Right.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah, the giant
yeah,
ones, I don't even know the name or if they still make it, but that's not in the tournament.
yeah. No, they're not in the
They make
tournament
the
at
cut.
all.
But anyway,
No, they're not in the tournament, and they
right,
wouldn't be, because the only reason you would eat
right,
frosted mini wheats is because of the frosted side, right? So,
right.
and I don't
Well,
care that I
you know,
piss off the
some people,
wheat people.
I don't know. Then again, you eat rice checks without, so
Over,
so you never know. You never
right?
know.
Yeah. Uh, gosh, gosh,
Yeah,
gosh.
mini wheats versus Cocoa Puffs. Tough one. Frosted mini wheats, I should say, versus Cocoa
You
Puffs.
know, I'm gonna go frosted mini wheats on this one.
Whoa!
I know, I know. I had to really think about, and it came down to this for me. How often do I eat Cocoa Puffs versus how often do I eat Frosted Mini Wheats? And I eat Frosted Mini Wheats a lot more than I eat Cocoa Puffs. As much as I love
Wow.
Cocoa Puffs, as much as I love them, um,
Yeah,
I've got to go with Frosted. I love
yeah.
the Frosted side.
Now I'm acting surprised, but let's be honest. It was a 10 seed versus a 23 seed. Frosted mini
Right.
wheats. It was expected to win this one, but still, I think a lot of people just never expected it to be as high as a 10 seed, and they're
Yeah.
proven they deserved it. They deserve that ranking.
They did. They did. That might come as a shock to some, but
Absolutely, absolutely. We moved down to the Southwest bracket.
okay.
Now we have the number 6 seed and the number 3 seed are in this one, by the way. Those are the top seeds, and we'll start off with the 6 seed. The number 6 seed is Cap'n Crunch, not Captain, Cap'n Crunch peanut butter
Ooh.
versus the 27 seed Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
good clash of styles again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch. This is another one of those cereals that benefits from a nice soak on the counter. Not that Peanut Butter Crunch shreds your mouth like
right.
regular Crunch does, because it doesn't. But it's not quite like, how do I describe it? It's like if you put peanut butter into Captain Crunch. And frankly, I think it's one of the most delicious cereals that was ever made, ever invented. And I know that's a very divisive stance for some folks.
It was very good cereal. Very good cereal.
And it still is. I mean, I still buy it.
And what you say about Captain Crunch, that's why Captain Crunch lost last week, because it's like gargling sulfuric acid when you're done.
Right. Right. Um, gosh.
It's like doing dirty things to a cactus.
Right. No. I think I've got it. There's just no, it's got to be Peanut Butter Crunch.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
I
got to
agree.
be Peanut Butter Crunch.
The 6 seed comes through.
Yeah.
Put that through. Yeah. Now, do they still make that?
Oh, absolutely. You
They
can
do.
walk into
Okay.
any store today and buy it.
Okay.
It's wonderful. You should try it sometime. Go out and get a bowl and let it soak in the milk for about 5 minutes. Give it a stir. Give it a stir,
Right.
or don't give it a stir if you want that mixture of texture. That's good too.
And I believe they're rice based.
No, they are oat.
Oh, all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
Well,
did not
I
know.
think technically it's corn and oat, but
Okay.
it's
Because it
mostly
almost
oat.
has that mochi kind of feel,
Yeah.
like it soaks. So,
Yeah.
all right.
And I love
Excellent.
Honey Bunches of Oats, and I should have talked about it some more,
Yeah.
but
Honey Bunch of Oats is one of my go-tos.
is it
Like
really?
that. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, here I
Wow.
think I agree
I'm
with you
sorry.
just because because if you want to, like, I feel like sweet cereals versus regular cereals, like you want a meal. The sweet cereals almost you want a dessert.
Right.
So
Okay.
it depends where you're at. So yeah, but Captain Crunch peanut butter takes it.
Okay. Honey
Next
bunches of
up,
oats. Poor thing.
this is an interesting one here because
Okay.
we have the number 11 seed Corn Chex versus the
Mm.
number 2 seed or 22 seed Fruit Brute. Yeah. Now, last week we also had a Chex versus a Monster cereal with blueberry and rice Chex. We
Mm.
all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is different though. I don't think anyone would say Fruit Brute's as good as blueberry, but I also don't think that Corn Chex is as good as rice Chex to a lot of people. So who knows how this turns out?
Well, I can tell you, as this being the third monster cereal on the list, I can tell
Yes.
you
Yes.
that this is probably my fourth favorite monster
Yes.
cereal. It's the least
You
favorite of
mentioned
all
that.
my
You
monster
mentioned that.
cereals. And that really comes down to it's more like a poor man's blueberry. I don't
Yeah.
know how else to describe it. Fruit Brute is like somewhere between Frankenberry and Blueberry, but it's not quite either. It's this
Right.
bastardized. It's good. I
Right.
mean, it's marshmallows and oats. You can't really go wrong with it. But Corn Chex, on the other hand, is like you said last week, that old work truck. And I get Corn Chex quite a bit. And I don't know if
Wow.
we've really talked about. I don't know if Crispix is on the list or if we've talked about it at all at any
It
length.
is.
But
It is. That's coming
yeah,
up later on today.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And gosh, I just have such an affection for those waffle made, crunchy, toasted, savory little nuggets. I'm gonna have to go with Corn Chex.
Okay. Okay. Corn Chex.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Fruit Brute's okay. Fruit Brute's the
Yeah,
kind of that's the monster cereal. Like you want to sit at home and watch a hockey game. Yes,
right.
Fruit Brute. They want to come over. Blueberry's the one. If you want to have a fun night on the town, that's who you take with you.
That's
Fruit Brute's
right.
just a good guy.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
fix your
yeah. He's
he'll
hanging.
fix
He's
your
chilling.
tank if you need it. He's a good
Yeah.
guy. Good guy. All right, next up, we have our final two matches. We have the number 14 versus the 19 seed.
Okay.
Number 14, the final monster cereal, Frankenberry, versus the number 19 seed, Cookie Crisp.
Oh boy. Who doesn't like eating cookies for breakfast? I mean, Cookie Crisp. God dang. I like Cookie Crisp because, and look, for the same reason that somebody asked me earlier, and we'll get to some of the cereals that were not on the list, next
Yes.
week. But somebody asked me earlier why Oreos wasn't on the list, and I said, well, because if I'm going to eat cookies for breakfast, I'm just going to eat Oreos.
Right.
I mean,
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
I would just eat Oreo. Why would you even fuck around with anything
Right.
else? But Cookie Crisp is not a chocolate chip cookie. Cookie Crisp is a cereal designed
Right.
to mimic a chocolate chip cookie.
Yes.
No matter what it might taste like, it's not a chocolate chip cookie.
No.
So texture-wise, I think Cookie Crisp is slightly less than, what was it again?
Frankenberry.
Frankenberry. Thank you. I know my brain is just on fog today. I'm going to go with Frankenberry. I love me some Frankenberry.
Frankenberry on my chart. I'm top 3 seed, easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah, yeah,
If I were to do the rankings, easy.
yeah.
That's probably my favorite monster cereal. I know it's not yours, but yeah, but Frankenberry over Cookie Crisp, I could see that. Cookie Crisp is
Yeah.
okay. And it's one of
Yeah.
those, like, if you have that at home, you're not angry. You're
No,
not
no,
angry.
no.
For
But
sure.
I've always gone out of my way to get two monster cereals, one being Count Chocula and the other being Frankenberry. Right? I do go out of my way, outside of cycle. And the funny thing is, I actually did look for some Frankenberry on Amazon last week. I couldn't find. Now I could find it, but I could only buy it in a bulk box, like a box of 4 for like $40, and I wasn't going to do that.
And what's wrong with
Yeah.
that? No.
Well,
Yummy Mummy, for those of you wondering, did not make the list. Neither did Carmela Creepers.
right,
Neither.
right. No, there's no Carmela
It
Creeper.
didn't make it.
I've never had Carmela Creeper. I'm hesitant.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I assume it tastes pretty similar, but yeah,
Yeah,
probably closer to Fruit than anyone else. But anyway, so
probably. Yeah.
Frank, and we are down to our final matchup,
Yes.
and this is a crazy matchup as far as like I'm looking at it. The number 3 seed is Crispix
Aha.
on number
Yes.
4 against the number 30 seed Golden Grams.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a tough one because we talked about Golden Grams last
I
week a little
know.
bit.
I love Golden Grams. I love them so much, but I love the varnish. I love the crunch. I love. They're just like little tiny graham crackers.
Right.
They're so
And
delicious.
and the texture after a while of soaking.
That is true.
Unpleasant. Not unpleasant.
No, not unpleasant. After a good soak, they are good.
Right. They're two
Oh,
total they're almost different cereals, but they're
yeah,
both exceptional. It's almost like a, like you're dining at a restaurant with an immersive
right,
experience that takes you through a full course. That's what you're getting in Golden
right,
Grams.
right. But
Right.
Kellogg's is Crispix times two. Crispix is crispy times two. Is that what they used to say? Yeah, I think that was the jingle.
I don't remember.
Kellogg's Crispix is crispy times two. Because one side was rice and the other side was corn.
Yes.
Now, back before we had Crispix, before Kellogg's did their technology of meshing rice checks and corn checks together and calling it Crispix, we didn't have that. We had to mix the
Right.
checks
One
together.
of the most innovative processes
Right.
ever. Right. A transformative uh, development, if you will, in the
Yes.
cereal industry.
That is not to say that I still don't mix corn checks and rice checks together if I have them both in the house, because I still do that.
Right,
That's
right.
how much I love Crispix. I got to go with Crispix. I
Wow.
know. I
Wow.
know.
Oh,
Crispix
wow.
might be, it's a top 3 seed for a reason, folks.
Yeah,
Crispix
yeah,
is up there.
sure, for sure. I think a lot of people, if they were gonna pick one upset, they would have picked Golden
I
Grams.
think they would have, and it's unfortunate because as much as I love, if the Golden Grams had gone up against anything else, it probably would have won.
Some of the
Um,
trends we're seeing this year, the Chex, those waffle shaped cereals are overproducing. They're doing very well
yes,
in the tournament. They're doing very well in the tournament.
as they should be, as they should be. There was an old cereal they used to make back in the day that was the perfect combination. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but it was the perfect combination of rice checks and Lucky Charms. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal,
Oh, oh wow.
and it was so delicious. And it was made by Ralston, and they don't make it anymore.
Now there was a waffle cereal.
Mmm,
Remember that? With
waffle
like a
crisp.
touch of maple syrup and the little waffle
Yeah,
what was it called?
waffle crisp.
Okay, okay. Yeah. But those were it's a different waffle
It is.
shape. It's
It
not
is.
a it's not the small
Right.
waffle that, kind of floats, kind of sinks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
honeycomb.
that wraps up this side of the bracket. So
Yes.
going through really was there only one upset in this one?
I
Fruity
think so.
Pebbles,
I think
18 over the
so.
15.
Fruity
Very
Pebbles.
different story than the other side of the bracket for sure.
Right. Right. Well, this has been incredibly entertaining for me. I don't know about you guys out there in YouTube land. Hopefully, Miss Junk was entertained. Um,
Yeah. This is I mean, again, it was more stand what you'd expect from a thing, but again, if you're picking these, you never know where you're gonna find the upset of the week. You never know.
never
And
know.
I think a lot of people, when you fill out a bracket, you pick an upset. I had Golden Grams. I had Golden Grams going to the semifinals, and you big bracket buster. I should have gone with the favorite
Oh,
Crispix.
yeah. Yeah.
Should have recognized after what happened with Rice Chex and Blueberry. I should have recognized it, but I didn't. That's
Oh
on
my
me.
God.
That's on me.
Well, I can't wait for next week. We're going to get right into the finals of this thing.
That's right.
And holy mackerel, hold on to your hats, kids, because I think we're going to have some very wild matchups. We're going to see some upsets for sure. One thing I can tell you is make sure you're wearing your seatbelt because it's going to get crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you enjoy what you see here today, do me a favor. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Do the like. Do all that other jazz. I don't know.
And comment
And
on
comment.
the
Yeah.
help the algorithm
Yeah.
help the dogs.
Yeah. What she said. She's
That's
better
right.
at this YouTube thing than
Help
I
the
am.
algorithm by commenting here, not just like sure you could send a text to AB or you can send an email to his server and one of his assistants will answer you. But just text right, just put your comment right here on YouTube. Why not?
That's right. Yeah, and that way we can all share in the wealth of commentary as it pertains.
Exactly.
And yeah, if you have not done so already, I know Miss Junk has dropped a new episode of her Christmas Warhammer.
That's right. That's
You need to go out there and see those ogres wearing sweaters. They crack my shit up.
Right, which may be the only thing nerdier than a cereal bracket.
I don't know. Cereal brackets are pretty nerdy. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time. For Miss Junk and the Bird, we'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody.